Michael is,
Till now, no. Now it's yeah. Now it's live. Yes, I check it.
Hello? How come it's not showing up here? All right. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam, shehakol nהיה b'dvarei. L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim livracha. To
Fine.
life and for blessings.
Everything works.
Thank you. We begin today a new mimer, a new Hasidic discourse. This was said, as in the previous last three, in 1977. The Rebbe said it from his room after he had his massive heart attack, and so he didn't come to speak in front of the Chassidim. And this was said Saturday night after Parshas Chayesara. Well, we have a special guest here. Special guest, Avida. Welcome. Learning in the merit of Yeshayahu ben Salom.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Fine.
So this, and Leva also. So this discourse was said Saturday night after Parshas Chayesara. Now we're in Parshas Vayera. So it's not this week's Torah portion, it's next week's Torah portion. Sorry? Chayesara, right, next week. That's okay. Good. So the words are actually just simple words. Avram Zakin, and Avram became old. Zakin, he was an elder. Baba Yamim, he came into his days. That's what we're going to focus in on, these words. In the meaning of these words. This is, in the end, speaking about, his passing. And yeah, but that's not what's important over here. What's important over here is it's everything when we take a discourse, Hasidic discourse, it's a concept that we use these words as a springboard. So, the Alter Rebbe in Torah Or on the words to understand the concept of that that's in Pirkei Avos, the ethics of our fathers, chapter 4, the 17th Mishnah, that says Yafasha Achas. It's beautiful. 1 hour b'tshuva ma'asim tovim, to do tshuva, penitence, and good deeds, ba'olam hazeh, in this world, mikol chayei olam haba, from all of the life of the world to come, meaning in Gan Eden, right? This is sort of like nips in the bud every other faith and religion that, looks at this world as merely a gateway to the world to come, to Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, where our souls go after 120 years in this world, right? Because 1 hour living in this world and in that hour, right, you're doing tshuva, penitence, and good deeds, that's worth all of the life of the world to come. Right? Now, so he was explaining this, the Alter Rebbe, before is expounding on this verse. Avram Zakim Baba Yamim, that Avram was old, elderly. I guess probably the best way to translate it, elderly.
How old?
175.
That makes sense.
Shouldn't go a day earlier. 95 is much too young, right? Our dear Yeshayahu ben Betzalel, David and Liba's father, of yeah. So the Zohar on this verse says that he came into supernal days. And what are those supernal days? They are the garments of Torah mitzvahs, which is tshuva maisim type, right? Penitence and relating it to the Mishnah in the ethics of our fathers, it is in reference to penitence and good deeds. Meaning, what does that mean that it's a garment? What does it mean that you came into these days? And then you have a garment of Torah and mitzvahs, and that word garment, levush, will come to understand, right? And simply a garment is sort of an interface between you and the world, right? Think about it. That's what a garment is. It's an interface between you and the world. It's a protective interface. It's a
Fashionable.
a beautifying interface,
Okay.
right? It beautifies the person. It protects them from the elements. It protects you from your own emotions of shame if you didn't wear clothes or you didn't wear nice clothes, right? Right? Well, that was sufficient for them, right? L'chaim. So the interface of Torah and mitzvahs, right? Meaning, so what's the interface? What is it in this reference? Because it's the interface between that your soul will be able to have divine pleasure of the Shekhinah, of the divine presence of God in Olam Haba. Right? So this is what it means coming into the days, coming in to supernal days where you have the garments of Torah mitzvahs that allow you, remember he's elderly, so he's passing on, that will allow you to have the divine pleasure that's coming thereafter.
Stepping stone?
Yeah, people,
Okay.
yeah, I won't use that term though. No, that's a garment. Right. Now, this idea is connected to days, literally. In other words, the Zohar explains it's supernal days, right? Supernal days meaning you're doing supernal stuff, like Torah mitzvahs, tshuva, and good deeds. But this is also related to days literally, right? In the literal sense, there needs to be all your days complete. In other words, every day needs to be complete with the mitzvahs, with the supernalness of that day, with the mitzvahs of the day, right? As is the Baal Shem Tov said that you shouldn't leave a single day from the fulfillment of mitzvahs. And this is what it means coming into the days. Avram Avinu, Abraham, our forefather, he did his divine service every single day, that every single day was complete and whole. He wasn't lacking anything in his divine service. His divine service, he wasn't lacking.
All his life, or just in the
No,
supernal life?
no, it is all of his life.
But then he went to supernal life.
No, that's what it means, supernal.
So he came into it.
So through this, Baba Yamimi came into his days, meaning that that's what made it supernal, right? In a literal sense, every day was complete. He had a whole complete day, right? In a literal sense. In the figurative sense, it was complete because of the garments of Torah and mitzvahs. Right? Like in a literal sense, his day was full of mitzvahs, full of, whatever is necessary for the day. Okay. So it's known the exactingness on this. So what's the necessity every day? The mitzvahs of the day, shall we say? And what if you did 2 mitzvahs tomorrow and you were lacking something today? The sum total at the end of your life is the same, right? In other words, there's a precision over here that it's not that way, but we need to understand that, right? Think about it, Wow. I just had a thought just to tie in, in learning Rambam, for example. At the end of the cycle, so you learned the whole thing. Let's say today I didn't do the 3 chapters and I'll put it off for tomorrow. In the end, but no, there's something about that the 3 chapters of Rambam are in its day, right? Not that the sum total is at the end of one's life is equal to, you could look at it that way, but no, there's something precise about the fact that it's, in its day, right? Something about that. Okay. Now, behold. Everybody with me? Amazing.
L'chaim.
Now, this virtue of Avram, Baba Yamin, that we just spoke about, right? The verse speaks about him. He came into his days. Literally means each day was complete in its divine service, right? He didn't push off Rambam for the next day to do the 3 chapters. He did it on that day, right? And in the simple sense, right? In the esoteric sense, it means supernal days, that the days that each had its garment of a mitzvah, right? Which, as we will learn, garments, this interface that allows the neshama to be able to have divine pleasure. Okay. So this, that Avram Baba Yamim came into his days, this verse comes after many different virtues of his that come beforehand as mentioned in the Torah. And even in this verse alone, there's another virtue that it speaks about. Zokain, he was elderly. I know for many Western-minded people, oh, elderly, you're out to pasture already, you know. No. From a Jewish perspective, elderly is a virtue and halavai that people should appreciate that. So it's understood, though, from the verse, right? Live with chutzpah,
Yeah.
be good, yeah. Be good to your elders, right? Not only be good to your elders, respect them. Not respect them that, just, no, like truly recognize that they're a repository of great wisdom and a path and so much, that you,
Sure.
yeah, reverence, exactly. Exactly. Any case. So this virtue of being the Zokain, elderly, is a very wondrous and elevated. 1 second. But Baba Yami, since in the verse it comes after it, it means it's even greater virtue of Avram. Even though this quality, is emulating God, elderly, because God, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, God is referred to as Atik Yomim, old days, to actually a reference to the way God is beyond, like, I guess in the sense like the elderly are sort of beyond. So here's also beyond. Elderly can be beyond this world in the sense that, they've worked on themselves, that they're no longer drawn by the world. They're not drawn downwards, more upwards, right? It's interesting, just in a physical sense, they don't have the same appetite. You're not driven, to go run after money or for after your lusts and so on in the same manner. Now, it's a weakness of the body, and you might say that that's all it is, but that's, of course, someone who just didn't work on themselves, didn't serve God. So, but someone who served God, so then it's actually a virtue, right? So you kind of, with that, you kind of separated yourself. And that's what God, he's separated, he's beyond. So, he embodies that godly element of Atik Yomin, of God in him, right? So it's a great virtue. Again, a person who just, their whole life is a material, physical world. Now they get elderly, so the parts are not the same. So woe is me. But if you are Avram Avinu and you served God, so the elderly means you're a greater embodiment of that level of, so to speak, of the elderly of God, or the way God is removed. So the older person is also sort of removed from, the physical world, if you will. So Okay, now that we understand that Avram Avinu is an embodiment of Atik Yamin, which is actually, it refers to a level called pleasure above, right? Without going into it. So we need to understand what is the great virtue that comes after that, right? Of Baba Yamim. If he's an embodiment of this divine level of God, divine pleasure, Atik Yamin, that is removed beyond this world, right? A divine pleasure. And he's an embodiment of that. So what's now coming? That he has a garment of his mitzvahs that he has done. What is that adding up to? How's that greater? With that, you'll have to come back.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Earlier.
Thank you. And again, a big welcome to Bida and Liba. And we'll see you shortly. Homish Rashi. All right.